Have you ever wondered if we're living in the end times? Do market crashes, the coronavirus, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the prospect of World War III scare you? The list is lengthy, and we have no idea what may occur next. Only time will tell, but this is a recession appears to be a popular term lately. With so many layoffs and collapsing stock markets, it's evident that the prices of basic products and services are rapidly rising. But what does a recession mean? What are the consequences, and how likely are they to occur soon? This video will only answer a few questions, so make sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to our channel before we begin so that you will be notified when we post useful stuff that you will find useful. Let us start by defining what a recession is. Surprisingly, there isn't a single definition of a recession that everyone agrees on. How is it that a recession can just mean a stage in the business cycle with a general slowdown or drop in economic activity? With that, we'll end our video. Aside from the joke, the usual definition of a recession is a drop in a country's GDP for 2 consecutive quarters. However, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, a recession is defined as a considerable reduction in economic activity that impacts all sectors of the economy and lasts for more than a few months. This decline is visible in industrial production, employment, real income, and wholesale and retail commerce. When this occurs, the economy must make a few minor adjustments to correct the imbalance. Asset bubbles have also been a significant contributor to recessions. For example, stock bubbles and dot-com enterprises contributed to the 2001 recession. This was also a contributing factor to the Great Recession of 2008 to 2009, which was brought on by a housing bubble. Unexpected economic shocks might also generate economic troubles. This was true during the oil crisis of the 1970s and 1980s, when doing business was difficult, and also the virus was extremely contagious during the pandemic. Many businesses were forced to close. It may sound insane, but in order to survive the tough climate, they must develop new techniques. Make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on all alerts so we can notify you when we post relevant stuff. We'll break down the business cycle to help you comprehend a recession. The business cycle, as you may be aware, comprises 4 main stages. Keep the NBER in mind. It is the committee in charge of determining when recessions in the United States begin and conclude. Let's take a quick look at the history of U.S. recessions when we talk about the U.S. The United States has had the most recessions of any country in history. It experienced 12 recessions in the 20th century and 3 so far in the 21st. The 2001 recession was caused by the boom and the dot-com enterprises. This is why it is referred to as the dot-com recession. The economy was already awful at the time, but the 9/11 incident exacerbated it. The Great Recession, which ran from December 2007 to June 2009, was the longest economic downturn since the 1930s Great Depression. Asset bubbles triggered a global financial crisis, which resulted in the Great Recession. The COVID-19 epidemic was the final cause of the 2020 recession. It is known as the worst recession since the Great Depression because of how severe it was. As I already stated, you probably remember it like it was yesterday. Unemployment in the United States reached a record high of 14.7%, with 20.5 million jobs destroyed. The pandemic's unpredictability also contributed to the 2020 stock market catastrophe. If you didn't already know, you do now. When the yield on long-term debt falls, prices skyrocket. This is referred to as an inverted yield curve. This is because long-term debt typically involves a larger degree of duration risk, and as a result, provides higher yields than short-term debt. A 10-year government bond, for example, will yield more than a 5-year bond. This is typically due to the danger of inflation, which raises the interest rate on long-term debt. The amount of money people spend can also be used to foretell a recession. The majority of the international economy is driven by consumer spending. Who doesn't buy anything these days? Consumer spending typically rises during periods of economic expansion. As I previously stated, if surveys reveal a significant loss in consumer confidence, the economy may be in trouble. Lower spending tends to slow the economy because it reduces total demand for goods and services, which might generate economic shocks. Another crucial aspect in determining or forecasting a recession is the unemployment rate. As you may recall, following a recession, businesses are exposed to systemic risks and may be forced to let some of their staff go, leaving them jobless. Rising unemployment can have a knock-on effect on the economy by causing fewer individuals to purchase goods and services. When supply and demand are out of balance, economic shocks occur. During the previous global recession, the unemployment rate in the United States reached a new high of 9.5%. As a result, the Federal Reserve and other central banks have a dual mandate. According to the dual mandate, the major goals are to maintain full employment and stable pricing. Imagine going to the supermarket to buy something that was once $1 and seeing that it is now $100. What would your reaction be? You don't have to worry about that because of the government. Full employment is the maximum level of employment that the economy can support without raising inflationary pressures. However, achieving a 100% employment rate is not feasible. The Fed accomplishes this by monitoring unemployment rates and ensuring that price stability reserve needs are met. The discount rate and open market operations are two tools used in monetary policy. These monetary policy instruments are further classified as expansionary monetary policy and contractionary monetary policy. For example, to keep market players from losing a lot of money or to promote economic progress. The Fed and other central banks use expansionary monetary policy to lower interest rates or the discount rate. Overall, this offers investors a motive to invest rather than hoard their money. Save money in their bank accounts to cool down a rapidly expanding but overheating economy. The Fed can implement a contractionary monetary policy by raising the discount rate or selling government assets through open market operations. This will reduce the amount of money in the economy. Therefore, are we experiencing a recession? The short answer is no, but it is dependent on how the Federal Reserve manages the current economic situation. The Fed's job is to keep prices stable and employment levels stable. It is capable of combating both inflation and unemployment. However, multiple factors have exacerbated the current economic scenario, posing a significant threat to the world economy. The Feds are now walking a tightrope. The aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic, as well as political tensions between Russia and Ukraine, have recently held the global economy hostage. A recession could occur soon, and the costs of key goods such as food and energy have reached all-time highs. The World Bank's president has already cautioned that avoiding a recession will be difficult. 50% of investors believe the U.S. economy will enter a recession in 2023. If the sky is cloudy and there are warning signals, it may seem as if you are waiting for manna from heaven to forecast when it will rain or, in this case, when a recession would occur. If this occurs, it may have a domino effect on the world economy, causing many countries to lose money, potentially leading to a global recession. Europe is not conducting normal business. The prolonged conflict between Ukraine and Russia has harmed the Eurozone's economy. Cross-border trade has slowed, global supply chains have been disrupted, prices have risen, and there are shortages everywhere. The domino effect has jeopardized the supply of critical food resources such as wheat. Did you know that these two countries produce roughly 1/3 of all wheat in the world? Europe's sanctions on Russia have exacerbated the energy issue. Russia is one of the world's largest oil exporters. Because of supply issues, energy costs have risen, causing gas and electricity prices to rise at the pump. Because of greater energy costs, practically all goods and services have increased in price, exacerbating inflation. Remember that because petroleum is a necessary component of production, it affects practically all industries. Finally, here's my take on the prospect of another recession. It's impossible to tell if we're about to enter another one, and there's no assurance that one will begin soon. Regardless, you should be prepared, but more importantly, you should be prepared to be prepared. You must seize the day while the sun is shining. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Cheers!